Good to see everyone. It feels like it's been a long time. So, no, we're super excited, and we have 2 days in of official practice. We start on Tuesday. Went 2 days, gave them yesterday off, and now we're going right after this. We'll be down on the practice floor. So, really love this group. Obviously, we're experienced. We return our whole starting five, and then really added some key pieces in terms of, as you guys know, we needed more depth. So. Added that through freshmen, 2 freshmen, and a couple transfers. So I think you'll see, obviously a year of experience now. We're in a much better place. We're a lot further along than what we were this time last year. And we're actually having an early scrimmage. In 2 weeks, we have a scrimmage this year that I think will help us a lot. It's against, one of the top 25 team in the country. So another really good opportunity for us to see really where we're at, and then have enough weeks before our first game to get better from that. So we're healthy, we're getting better every day, and just really excited to continue to grow and see what we can do this year. So with that, I'll open it up to you guys.
Coach, can you tell us a little bit more about the newcomers and what do you expect that they'll add to your team?
Yeah, we have with the 2 freshmen, really impressed as freshmen. They're picking up on stuff. We run a lot of different things, obviously defensively schemes, and they're picking stuff up very quickly. So I think both of those guys can come in and help us in that wing position. And then obviously, Camille Hobby, 5th year from NC State. She's shown really some glimpses of being really, really special. And as you all know, we need more depth in the 5 position, and she's a little bit different than KB. She's a true physical banger down there. Can really, really finish. So with KB and her both able to play the 5, and then also being able to play them together some, I think is going to give us a lot of different looks that we did not have last year. And then Shea Bolin is continuing to improve every single day, and she can really shoot the ball at 6'3", and another option at the 4 spot, where we also needed depth. So you guys saw it last year in the NCAA tournament, we were banged up, and we just didn't have many options after that. So that's going to be the most exciting thing for me this year, is that we actually have more bodies and we have more depth.
Shauna, what's been the process of working Camille and Kendall together out there, and how do you feel that's gone?
I'm trying to do it even more. I need to be, early on, it was more so subbing them in for each other. But now that we're in 20 hours and we have a lot longer time, I'm starting to play them a lot together. And it's really been interesting to see how they do. They actually work really well together. And I think Kendall actually, it's something fresh for her too, to play some of the 4. And obviously our rebounding is really good when she's out there. Kendall's shooting the ball from 3 a lot better right now, and I told her she needs to continue that. So if she can consistently hit a 3, that's going to be a game changer when she's at the 5 or when she's at the 4. So we're working more of it in, and now that we're in our 20 hours, we're going to be able to do that a lot more, give them a lot more reps together.
Just to follow up on that, does that mean the primary plan though is one or the other, and the option to play both, or is that potentially a primary way to do it?
Right now, again, who knows, how the season or how it unfolds. Right now, I would say, one, they won't start together is again right now. Who knows, if I really like how it looks with them both out there, then we'll go with that. The nice thing is we have options. And as a coach, you want options, and we didn't have a lot of options last year. So, it'll be good too, because as we're doing research in our team, the guys that were playing a ton of minutes, a lot of those losses, they were at high minutes. And I think we're best when you get a little bit of a break, and when Makira, Jen, Adalia, Kendall, when they're fresh. And then you also saw, I think some of those high usage, ended up getting some nagging injuries come, the end of the season, which we want to try to avoid. So we'll see how it goes.
Shauna, obviously you want expectations, but now that you have expectations, how does the team handle that? How do you as a coach approach that?
Yeah, for the team, maybe, for some of our guys, maybe it's new, but I'm used to that. At Dayton, everyone always thought we were going to win, and if we got second, they thought we were awful and it was the worst thing in the world. So, you know, I love pressure. I love the expectation. That's what it should be. That's what we all want. Now, we have talked about it with our team, because some of these guys it is newer for, you know, some of the transfers, they're used to it. But some of the people that were here, you know, so we're just talking about it, and you know, we're being open with it. But like I always say, I mean, pressure really it's a privilege, and the only expectation that we've been talking about is the expectation, the standard we have for ourselves. So any one of you guys or anyone else can say what they think, but all the people in our circle and our team, we know what we do every day, and that's the only thing I'm concerned about, is what we expect, what our standard is, and how are we going to handle that. So, you know, everything else really doesn't matter. So we've been just talking about that.
With Myra specifically, you know, just the summer experience for her with Team USA, what can that maybe do for her, and then just in a second year in the Big Ten, you know, kind of having that period last year to kind of build into this year?
Yeah, I think at any time the experience is just so critical, right? Like, all of our kids have talked to me about, you know, I feel so much more comfortable now. I understand the standards. I understand the system. I understand what you expect every day, right? So now they understand what the Big Ten's like. They've been through a whole season. So I think someone like a Makira, she saw a little bit of everything last year in terms of how teams defended her. You know, she really saw it all. And I think she's now gained even more experience in playing with USA basketball against, you know, and with some of the best players in the country. I also think it gave her a really good appreciation for how we do stuff and in our system that really lets her flourish and play and thrive. But I mean, she's in a really good place right now mentally, and I think confidence-wise. So I expect her to, you know, just take off from last year and you know, have an even better season than last year, because now she knows what to expect. You got to remember, last year for a lot of them, it was still their first time. You know, it was their first time playing Ohio State. It was their first time playing, you know, at Indiana. All those type of things, right? So that experience is just gonna give them more confidence going into this year.
When you go into the transfer portal and you look at Shea and Camille, what do you know, when you're looking at fit versus a roster that has a bunch of experience coming back, how do you kind of balance those two things out, and what have you kind of seen from that, how they fit with what you have coming back?
Well, it's nice when you only have to add a couple, right? It's not like we had 4 transfers coming in. So we were very, very, you know, particular with what we wanted, and we knew what we needed. So, you know, with the hobby, we had already recruited her, we knew her, we had kind of, you know, followed her, just because when you recruit someone, you kind of follow them. So we knew what she had, and what we needed was a perfect fit. Now with Shea, you know, we needed size, and she fits our versatility. And she was an elite high school player. Obviously, she's had some injuries the past couple of years, so it's going to take her, you know, a little bit to kind of find her rhythm again. But they fit in seamlessly, and you know, you also have to remember, I think Hobby's my first 5th-year transfer I've ever had. So it made me even think, we've had a ton of transfers through the years, but she was the first 5th year. She's also used to a system for 4 years, and has a lot of habits and used to a certain culture. So I give her a lot of credit, because we're a lot different than her former culture and just how we do stuff. And some of it's been, you know, it's been really new for her. And it's, you know, some days it's like, no, this is how we do it. And so she's really adjusted quickly, and sometimes you forget that when it's a 5th year, that they have 4 years of somewhere else, and now you're trying to adapt quickly, build relationships quickly in order for her to be the best version of herself.
As you going from last year's team had a lot of success, but how do you convince your team, last year's in the past, and to move forward to this year?
You know, we talk about it, you know, we're open about it, and then, you know, it kind of fits into what we talk about all the time. Like, whether it's yesterday or last year, like, none of that matters. We're only focused on today and what we can control. You can't worry about the future, you can't worry about the past, you gotta focus in and lock in now. So really, my challenge to them since summer and even now, I just finished out my individual meetings with our whole team. I try to do them every few weeks. The challenge has been, okay, what did you do last year? And like, we gotta do more. So let's look at it. Can you watch more film? Can you get in the gym and get more shots up? You know, can you get more individual work? Like, there has to be something more, or you're just going to continue to get the same results. And our kids have really taken that. I see them in the gym nonstop. You know, they're doing extra. So it's just really been, and the thing is, it's not like I could see if we won a national championship. You know, if we didn't. Yeah, we had some success, and more success that this program's had in a long, long time. But we have a lot more goals. A lot. You know, our vision is a lot higher than even last year. So we just got to stay hungry. Like, that's the biggest thing. You got to stay hungry.
Shauna, when you have a rotation maybe closer to 9 compared to last year when it was maybe closer to 7, is there things that you can do now that you, especially on the defensive end of the floor, that you were doing at Dayton that you just couldn't do last year because you couldn't trust that many people to be out on the floor?
You know, we're never like, I mean, never say never, but we're not a pressing team.
Right.
We're not a, you know, in the passing lane team, but I think we can be more disciplined for longer. We can be, you know, go a little bit harder defensively for longer. We can, you know, just because now you're getting a little bit of a break and you're not playing, you know, 39 minutes. I mean, there's a lot of games, you know, that some of our players are playing 38, 39 minutes, and they're doing that over and over, especially when you have someone like a KB or a Makai or Jen that have the ball in their hands all the time, or KB's down there banging the whole time. So I think just a little bit more breaks will keep us, you know, fresher, more disciplined, more consistent. At least that's what I'm hoping, you know, for longer, and build a finish stronger. You know, at the end of the game, be a little bit fresher, have fresher legs.
Sean, what's it tell you about the perception of your program to be able to add that depth in a real competitive portal atmosphere?
I think you guys know people want to go. You got to win. So having that, you know, winning 20 some games last year, making an NCAA tournament, that now we had some solid evidence to sell, right? Before we're like, well, we've won here, we've done this, we do this, we're gonna do this is our vision. But now having some success, now people are like, okay. And you know, I give credit to a lot of, you know, our transfers last year that believed in it. I give credit to, you know, Corey and Gretchen, who had a lot of different options, and we hadn't won a game, and they believed in it. And your Makairas, your, you know, Jens, if you go down the line, they just trusted people and a vision and nothing else. Where, you know, and that's where recruiting comes in. I mean, the more we win, the more, you know, people are going to look at us, and then hopefully through the success and also through our players saying, hey, this is how our culture is, this is how we're taken care of here. That hopefully will weigh in on recruiting and getting some of these transfers and or high school kids.
It's more of a guard-oriented team. Last year, shot quite a few threes. Is that the style of play that you prefer, or was that more personnel-driven?
No, we always want to play like that. I mean, if you're open, I'm telling them to shoot it. So, and obviously in our Phoenix transition, we're trying to score in 6 seconds or less, and a lot of those are up the street and open threes, and those are shots we take every day. Those are rhythm shots for us. They're system shots. So, I'm good with that. You know, and so I want our players to play free, fast, and we're going to set them a ton of ball screens, and they know every screen, every ball screen is an opportunity to score. So I'm actually talking to a lot of our players right now, be more aggressive. You know, we're last 2 days in practice, we're overpassing, and it's turnovers. Like, you're open, shoot it. So we want to play fast. We want to take open shots, and that's how we're going to play.
How's it help for the team? Any major concerns?
Yeah, knock on wood, we're good right now. So everyone's good, and we're back. You know, we had some things over the summer, but we're good now and moving forward. So.
Sean, obviously Brittany's had a lot of success in her career. What have you learned about her just since having her on campus and kind of doing your team?
You know, I think she's still finding. You know, I think she's done it. She's a vet, so she understands that she comes in and she doesn't just say everything she, you know, this is how we do it, or this is how we did at Stanford. I mean, she's really learning and taking everything in. But even in the last couple of months, you can see she's just a really good connector, and our players really, really gravitate towards her, and they really enjoy, you know, they're in her office all the time. You can tell there's instant respect. Those are type of things that don't normally happen for an assistant that's only been here a couple months, and I think that is huge. And yeah, she's done what we're all trying to do. She's won a national championship. So, you know, it's interesting to get some of her feedback and insight and opinions and new ideas too, which is great. I actually just in our staff meeting today, I'm like, you guys, like, I know my other assistants know me, but I'm like, everyone, like, keep bringing new ideas. Like, we believe in what we do, but keep bringing new ideas, and hopefully she'll continue to be even more vocal with that stuff.
When you look at a player like Shay, you were kind of referencing just, you know, dealt with some injuries, stuff like that coming in here, but what do you kind of foresee her role being for this team, and what have you kind of talked to her about the expectations for her?
Yeah, I mean, with her, I'm just, you know, it's all about confidence. When it's kind of like how Genesis was last year. You know, she came in, she hadn't played in a couple of years, so it's about them getting confident in themselves and kind of getting their swagger back, right? So I think Shay's in that mode right now where, you know, she didn't play last year, and then she was hurt her last year and a half or so in high school, so she hasn't been on the court. Like, she remembers how she played, but like she has to just get out there and get that confidence. So I'm just trying to build her up and keep her confident and keep her positive, because she's gonna be really, really good. And she just has to go through those reps. She has to, you know, defensively work totally different than Duke was, style wise, you know, even offensively, like, we're totally different, and I want her to be aggressive, and I want her to shoot, and some of those things, you know, she just wasn't used to. So it's a process, you know. I know we went through it last year with Jen, from someone that didn't play. So she'll get there. There's no doubt about it. When she does, she's going to help us a lot.
How do you handle somebody like Gretchen, where her numbers were out of this world in high school, and she's obviously not going to have that right out of the gate here, how do you handle somebody like that who's obviously going to have a different role than she's ever had, maybe in her basketball life?
Well, I actually, you know, I think she right now is thinking like a freshman and thinking she's going to have a different role, and that's good. But I want her to, I just met with her the other day, and I told her, I want you to remember you scored like 10 million points in high school. Like, I want you to have that mindset. Like, I don't want you to defer all the time. I don't want you, when you're on the floor playing, I don't want you to think you're a freshman. Like, you have to have the confidence that you had when you're in Buffalo, New York playing. So I'm trying to get her to not really think like a freshman, because I think she could really, really help us, and she could help us, you know, this year. Like, that's my vision for her. So I told her that, and then it's funny just, you know, telling her that next day in practice, you know, she's shooting every time she's open, and she's a scorer. Like, don't try to be something that you're not. So, you know, she'll go through normal freshman stuff, but she's progressed really well. Like, I'm really excited about where she's at and how she could, you know, how she could help us this year.
In the offseason, the NCAA added rules that had 2 more assistant coaches to your staff, and Illini and Jenna. How's that kind of been beneficial for you guys?
It's been huge, you know, in so many ways. Obviously now they can be on the phone, they can be recruiting, and they both, obviously Jenna's played for me for 6 years. Em's been with us now for a couple years, so now they're on the court and they're actually able to share their knowledge. You know, you have them sitting there, and I mean, we follow rules, so they just didn't do anything last year besides what they were supposed to do. And now they're out there working on the floor. They have their own position group. And again, to have them share their knowledge, and they are a little bit closer to their playing days, I think our kids really look to them and respect that. And especially, you know, Em played at a high level, and with Jenna knowing our system so well, I'll look to her, I'm like, Jenna, you know, and she'll remember what we did 7 years ago, and I forget what I did yesterday. So she's really helped me, because she knows exactly what we're doing and can really explain it to our players, you know, from a player's perspective. So it's been a huge, huge advantage for us.
One more question. No more questions?
I'll jump in. The NCAA tournament last year saw all-time numbers for viewership for youth basketball and the sport. What are your hopes for this year, not only for Illinois, but continued growth of college basketball?
No, I think it's just going to continue to go up. I think, you know, look even in our league, look at some of the numbers. I mean, Iowa already has every home game sold out. I mean, they're playing a game at Kinnick, you know, and it's Indiana had multiple games. Purdue had a sellout. You know, you go down the list, and the numbers, especially in our league, are just outrageous. So, you know, our numbers here, they're not what we want, but you know, a heck of a lot better than what they were, I guess, from what I hear, you know, the previous years. So, like, it's all about let's keep this, let's work on getting more people in State Farm Center, which I'm not like satisfied or content with that. I want to keep trying to grow it. But then it's also, I want the numbers from everywhere else to continue to go up. It's great for our game. And you saw last year in the finals, you know, everyone's talking about, you know, the game and the players. I mean, that's what this sport deserves. That's what, you know, I hope it just continues to grow and grow. So I'm excited about that, and I think we're in a good place here, but we got to keep growing it here as well.